You're relaxing. Maybe you're on the couch after dinner or having a quiet conversation in the car. Then your partner casually mentions a name, someone they used to date, a coworker who's honestly such a catch. Your stomach drops a little. You immediately try to rationalize it. You tell yourself you're being insecure, and you resolve to work harder on your own confidence. That third person carries a specific weight in the room. They act as a pressure point, and that pressure is being aimed directly at you. This physical tension is the first step in a sequence that draws you into a contest you never asked for. You are being moved into a specific reactive position. Therapists call this pattern triangulation. A family psychiatrist named Bowen spent decades watching how families manage conflict, and he noticed a mechanical quality to human relationship architecture. When tension builds between two people, the dynamic becomes unstable. It wobbles. To absorb that tension and hold the system steady, the relationship mechanically pulls in a third person. Bowen saw this as a neutral reflex, people coping poorly with stress. But this exact physical mechanism provides an opening for those who want to use that stability as a tool. In a dark version, someone actively introduces a third point to destabilize the victim, using a rival to force a state of anxious alertness. A 2017 study surveyed 237 young adults to measure narcissism and this strategic jealousy. Both grandiose and vulnerable narcissists used these tactics as a core behavior. The grandiose group used it to exert power, while the vulnerable group used it to test loyalty or shore up their own fragile self-esteem. A 2019 follow-up study found that even when narcissists simply imagined their partner cheating, their primary reflex was pulling a third party into the dynamic. The appearance of a rival serves a documented function. It's a strategic move to regulate a partner's behavior or manage their own internal tension. This tactic works by bypassing logic and hijacking your biological attachment system. Your brain reads the comparison as a threat to a vital survival bond. Once this trigger fires, you begin to perform. You watch yourself through their eyes, losing your sense of self. You try to become the better candidate. What locks this behavior in place is the timing. The threat isn't constant. It appears in flashes, followed by periods of warmth and safety. This is intermittent reinforcement, the same conditioning that makes slot machines addictive. The brain hooks harder on an unpredictable reward than a reliable one. You were perceptive for noticing the danger, but you were being trained to accept the confusion. The part of you that doubted your own eyes was the part being conditioned. To break the trap, you have to look at the center of it. The third person, the ex, the coworker, the crowd, is rarely the point. They are often just a shadow used to create a sense of competition. The manipulator's objective is to move you into a posture of competition. If you are competing, you are constantly reaching for their approval. Reaching for approval changes your position in the geometry. You stop acting on your own behalf and start moving according to the expectations of the judge. You exhaust your energy trying to win a rigged contest against a ghost. That exhaustion is exactly what the manipulator requires to maintain control. Standard reactions, arguing, defending yourself, or trying to outperform the rival, only reinforce the triangle. These actions keep you inside the system. However, this architecture has a structural flaw. A contest requires two active participants to exist. The next time a name appears where it shouldn't be, you don't have to defend your value. You simply notice the name has work to do, and you refuse to compete. You cannot outcompete a phantom, but by walking out of the room where the comparison was built, you leave the manipulator alone with a tool that no longer has a target.